Determine whether the equation is an identity, contradiction, or conditional equation. In the top left example, we have 9 times x minus 1 equals 9x minus 9. When you distribute the 9 on the left side of the equation, you get 9x minus 9. At any point during solving an equation, excuse me, if you see that one side is identical to the other, then you have what's called an identity. In the upper right example, when you distribute 9, you have 9x plus 9, and that's going to be equal, it might or might not be equal to 9x plus 1. 9x plus 9 can never be equal to 9x plus 1 because when you subtract 9x's from both sides, all the variable terms disappear, leaving you with a false statement of 9 equals 1. So that's not equal to 1. This is called a contradiction. Back to the first example, any value of x will create a true statement. In the upper right example, no value of x can create a true statement. Solving linear equations, those will be powers of x to the first power. On these, the idea is to get all the variable terms on one side of the equation and all constants or numerical terms to the other side. You're allowed to use adding and subtracting as needed to move terms from one side to the other. In our top left example, we have a variable term. It's on one side of the equation only. There's no other variable terms. There are 2 constant terms. So this plus 4 can be moved over by subtracting it, minus 4 from both sides. That will leave 7x equals 28. Once you have separated variable terms from numerical or constant terms, then you can use division to remove the coefficient. So that's 7 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 7 is to divide by 7. Dividing both sides by 7, 7 divided by 7 is 1. X equals 4. And 4 is the only value of x that makes that statement true. And so that's called a conditional equation. In the upper right example, we only have one variable term. We have 2 constant terms. Subtract 8 from both sides, and that will create the separation of variable on one side, constant on the other. Negative x equals 11 only when x is negative 11. Divide both sides by negative 1. The next example at the bottom left, we have 2x plus 8 equals 10 minus 7x. There are variable terms on both sides. There are constants on both sides. So what you want to do here is pick a side to move all of your variable terms. I'm just choosing the left side. So to do that, I need to move this term, add 7x's to both sides. That's 9x. My plus 8 stays the same. My 10 stays the same. Negative 7x plus 7x is 0. So I've successfully moved all variable terms to one side. The constants have to go to the other side, and I do that by subtracting 8. 10 minus 8 is 2, so 9x equals 2. Last step, once you've created the separation, divide by 9. Both sides, x is equal to 2/9. The example at the bottom right, the left side has a variable term and a constant. The right side of the equation has 2 variable terms and a constant. This 8y plus 4y, you can go ahead and consolidate that into 12y. We have variables terms still on both sides, so pick a side for your variables. In class, you guys chose to move them to the right. So to do that, we move 5y over by subtracting it. Do the same thing to both sides. 3 equals 7y minus 5. If all the variables go to the right, then the constants have to go to the left. So to move subtracting 5, we add 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. And that equals to 7y. Divide by 7. Y is equal to 8/7. In our next equation, 9x minus 12 is equal to 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 6. When you see parentheses and there are two or more terms inside, whatever is just outside the parentheses can be distributed through repeated multiplication. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. The rest of these terms I just recopied. 3x plus 6x, those are on the same side and they're like terms, so those turn into a 9x. Well, if you step back and look at the equation at this point, the left side and the right side are identical, so we can stop here and call this an identity. Any value of x will create a true statement. When you have equations with fractions involved, it's a good idea to try to clear your fractions. What you want to do is pick a number that all of your denominators will divide into evenly. So start thinking of numbers that 4 and 2 will divide into evenly. If numbers like 8 or 12 come to mind, that's good. 8 and 12 are definitely divisible by 4 and 2. In class, we came up with 4 together. 4 is divisible by 4 evenly, and it's also divisible by 2 evenly. Once you decide on a number that all of your denominators will divide into evenly, multiply both sides of your equation by that number, and that's the red 4 there. Distributing the 4, we have 4 times 5x over 4 plus 4 times a half. On the right side of the equation, 4 times x minus 4 times half. Okay, going back on the first jump, the 4's cancel, leaving 5x. 4 times a half is 2. This 4x stays the same. And then 4 times a half, that's negative 2. Negative 4 times a half is negative 2. Moving the variables to one side, let's subtract 4x's from both sides. That leaves 1x plus 2 equals negative 2. Moving the constants to the other side, subtract 2. That gives us x equals negative 4, and that's a conditional equation which is satisfied by x equals negative 4. When you run into an equation that consists of fraction equals fraction, you can use a technique called cross multiplication. Crisscross pattern and set them equal. 2 times 24x plus 3 equals 1 times 7x plus 6. Distributing 2, we get 48x plus 6. On the right, distributing 1, 7x plus 6. Moving the variables to one side, take off 7x's from both sides. 48 minus 7 is 41x. Plus 6 stays the same. That plus 6 stays the same. Subtracting 6 from both sides, that leaves 41x equals 0. And then solving for x, divide by 41, and you get x equals 0. That's another conditional equation. Solving another equation with rational expressions, those are fractions in math language. 18 over x minus 8 equals 5 over x plus 5. The only denominators we have are x, so it makes it a little bit easier to pick out what you're going to multiply both sides by. We're going to use an x. X times 18 over x. The x's cancel, that leaves 18. On the next jump, 8 times x, well, negative 8 times x, that's negative 8x. On the right side of the equation, when we jump, x times 5 over x, the x's cancel, leaves 5. And then 5 times x, that's 5x. Moving the variables to one side, you guys recommended in class that we add 8x to both sides, so that's what we did. That left 18, that goes to 0, equals 5. 8x plus 5x is 13x. And then now to move the constants to the other side, subtract 5, that's 13 equals 13x. And finally dividing by 13, That gives us x equals 1. A person's weekly paycheck is 15% less than the salesperson's paycheck. The two paychecks total $1,425. Find the amount of each paycheck. So we have person 1 plus person 2, that totals up to $1,425. We don't know each one of them's salary or paycheck at all, so we're going to use variables. All right, I'm going to let one of the salesperson's paycheck just be X. If the other salesperson's paycheck is 15% less, then that means they're only getting 85% of what the other person's getting. That totals out to 1 plus 85x, because there's an unwritten 1 here. Take your total, divide it by 1.85, and you get a $770.27. Now, since that is your X value, and we assign that to salesperson 1, that's how much salesperson 1 makes. Salesperson 2 only makes 85% of that because they make 15% less. 85% of that amount is $654.73. And so that gives you the value of each person's paycheck. We also looked at purchasing a train ticket. The price of a train ticket after an 18.5% discount is $179.30. What's the original price of the ticket? Well, we're not paying full price, so we let X be the full price. If we take off 18.5%, remember to use the decimal form of that amount, then basically with the discount we're paying 81.5% of the original price. So 81.5% of the original price is what we purchased the ticket for. That's $179.30. Divide both sides by 0.815 and we get an original train ticket price of $220. To get an A in a course, you must have an average of at least 90% on 4 tests, worth 100 points each. Your scores so far are 88, 91, and 81. What must you score on the 4th test to get an A in the course? Well, when we calculate averages, if every score has an equal weight, we add them up, divide by how many there are. So we have 88 plus 91 plus 81. Those are the 3 test scores we already have. We've got to figure out what the 4th test score is so that when we add them all up and divide by 4, we have at least a 90%. Our 3 test scores already have a sum of 260 points. So X plus 260 divided by 4 still needs to be equal to 90. Multiply both sides by 4 to eliminate your fraction. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that leaves X plus 260. 4 times 90, that's 360. So basically the way to look at it is you need 360 points to maintain at least a 90%. We already have 260 points from the 3 tests. Subtracting that says on the 4th test, we must make 100.